Good morning, everyone. Today is February 23rd, 2026, and today is another live trading session. If we look at our news for today, we have no news, no high impact news for today. If we look at our sentiment for today, we have our U.S. markets, which are U.S. 30, and the U.S. 30 sentiment has come out as bullish, but as we can see, it's kind of 50-50. And then we have NASDAQ market, which for today has come out as bearish. But again, we can see that there's a 50-50 sentiment inside of here as well. And then lastly, we have gold. Give me 1 second. And yeah, lastly, we have gold. And we see that our gold sentiment for today is going to be bullish. So yeah, so if we go back to our charts, we can start looking at what the previous week had did. We know that we have this level here, which is going to be our previous high of the week that was set in the market last Friday when it comes to NAS 100. And so we have that previous high of the week. We also have this previous low of the week. And so we're currently inside of that liquidity. From a 4 hours perspective, again, we're kind of just chopping sideways. And then from a 1 hour perspective, although we were starting to go bullish in the start of at the start of today, we had a pullback during late London session into pre-New York, and then now we are looking to see if we're going to go and either take out that previous high of the week or if we're going to continue to consolidate for today. And then again, we have US 30, which US 30 has already opened significantly bullish. If we look at our price range from a higher time frame perspective, again, kind of the same premise that US 30 is following. We have a previous high of the week here that was set in the market on Wednesday for US 30. And then we have this previous low of the week, which was set in the market on Friday. And we are currently trading between that range. And again, we'll see what the session does in terms of where price wants to move to. But we know from a lower time frame perspective, this first candle has already opened 155 points to the upside. So we'll see what this has to offer today. And then lastly, we have gold. And again, gold, we had this huge bullish rally yesterday or Friday going into yesterday's Sunday open. And then we now see from a lower time frame perspective, London session consolidated, or started the session consolidated, London session dropped off, and then we had a retracement. And now we're just trading near these higher time frame liquidity pools. And so again, from a higher time frame perspective, we know on a 4 hour, there is a 4 hour fair value gap here that was created in the market previously. And so this will probably be our first liquidity pool that we're looking for a price to actually reach into if it's going to continue to go bullish for the day. But aside from that, I think that's everything that we're looking at right now. And once again, like every day, I'll keep you guys updated with what happens throughout this session. Okay, so kind of trying to get better at explaining things kind of before they happen rather than just in the moment of when they happen. So kind of just breaking down what I'm looking for on NASDAQ currently. So it's 841 right now. We know that we had this high of the day that was created with this 340 candle. And we knew that 8:30 a.m. had ran this high of the day. So if we take this out, we know 8:30's candle had ran the high of the day. And then we started getting down close candles after 8:30. What I'm looking at here now is, again, if we take this away, we also see that 825 created this bullish fair value gap candle. And so we were waiting to see if we were going to continue to have bulls off of that with the 835 candle. And as we can see, that's not what ended up happening. The new 840 candle ended up just flipping this bullish fair value gap, and we are now looking at price to drive to the downside. And so basically what I was looking for inside of this candle was I was going to see how this 5-minute candle closed and then try and align with shorts off of this inverted fair value gap, since now that this bullish and since now that this bullish fair value gap is invalidated, we can now look at shorting off of that. But again, it's already kind of reached into where my objective was going to be, which was this sell side liquidity. So what we'll end up doing now is just realigning. I'll wait for this 5-minute candle to close in 2 minutes and 13 seconds, and then I'll see if the next 5-minute candle can create a bearish price action, a bearish fair value gap in order to take us down to this low of the day. And that'll basically be the premise of what I'm looking at right now, because again, higher time frame perspective, we now know the 15-minute has now respected structure and broken to the downside, and so price should continue to go to the downside if we're gonna continue those shorts for today. All right, so another update. It's now 8:47, but if we go on a HTF, being this hourly time frame, we can now see that inside of here, there's an hourly fair value gap that was created last Monday with this candle here. And so that's what I have marked out right here in price. And that is also, if we go to a lower time frame, that's what we've seen price now react off of and then pull back. So again, we have to wait for these candles to close. We have to wait for us to get closer to 9 o'clock in order to see if we're going to get any significant momentum for the day. But as of right now, I can't take anything because, again, we're stuck between higher time frame liquidity and lower time frame liquidity. Also, I don't know if you guys saw the video on Friday, but on Friday I was talking about probabilities. This is a prime representation of bad probabilities. If I go on a 15-minute time frame on US 30, look at this 8:30 candle. This 8:30 candle ran for like 150 pips and then pulled all the way back and left a wick that is that big. These are the type of candles that I'm talking about when I say probabilities are low. And in certain situations, you just have to sit on your hands because it's not worth trading bad probability. All right, so I'm gonna take this entry here. Again, we just got stopped out almost instantly on it, which is fine. But what I was looking at is, again, this lower time frame. I respect the 1 hour and the higher time frame more than I respect lower time frame liquidity. So if we look at this lower time frame, we know that from an hourly perspective, again, there's an hourly fair value gap that was presented in the market on Monday, and I was okay with the fact that if we take this away, we know that we've rated high buy side liquidity, we've rated sell side liquidity, and now we're sitting inside of this zone, basically looking for liquidity to pool. So I got on a 1 minute time frame, and I was trying to basically take this 1 minute fair value gap here because I had seen that this 5 minute at 850, we were trying to raid out of this liquidity pool here. So trying to raid out of that liquidity pool again, I wanted to go on a lower time frame and see if we could align to buys there. But we just lost this trade here, which is perfectly fine. And so now we're seeing if we're either going to continue to flip to the upside, or if price is going to respect this 5 minute fair value gap and then send us down to low of the day. We have 5 minutes until 9 o'clock. So again, we'll kind of just sit on our hands now and wait to see if another opportunity does present itself. Okay, so it's now 9:05. So another update of what we're basically looking at for this session. Everything else is basically off the table. We don't really care what gold's going to do for this session because we know how it expanded at the start of New York. For US 30, we're not worried about this anymore because as we've seen, US 30 rated the highs, and then we had this huge bearish downpour all session. And now, not only have we taken out the current low of the day, but we've also taken out the previous low of the week with US 30's price action. And we never gave any entries or retests to entries as we got on our way down. And then lastly, we have NASDAQ. Again, NASDAQ, we were looking for shorts to start the session once we rated these highs. I wasn't aligning with those shorts, which is why I took that buy on the lower time frame that I lost off of today. And so now what we're looking at is, again, this low of the day should be the objective since we've now held this 5 minute fair value gap and shown that we're not going to break it to the high side. As well as if we go on a lower time frame, again, we're now starting to distribute to the downside. So this could be an entry that's coming up here. I'm not going to take anything else today. I might also be done for the week because I just calculated this month's profits and we are up 3.6% for the month. And this is the last week. And like I said, again, this doesn't really make sense for me to take. This will be a 1-to-1, a 1 to 1.26 risk to reward ratio. Although I do think that this is about to play out. And again, we can sit here and see if it does play out. I'm not going to take it personally. But we, again, same premise in mind. We're looking for this low of the day as our first objective. And then after that low of the day is taken, it can continue to fall for the rest of the day. But that's the main objective that we're looking for today. Okay, so it's 9:12, and again, we're just walking through this trade. So I kind of want to explain what's happening. A lot of people are going to get scared with this 9:10 candle that rejected back. A lot of people would think it's going to come and take out their stop loss. But again, this is why I talked to you guys the entire session about higher time frame down to lower time frame. This pullback doesn't really mean anything. If you go to a 5 minute time frame and you look at what's going on the 5 minute, again, we can redefine this 1 minute gray box, which is denoting the 1 minute fair value gap. And we can redefine that to the 5 minute fair value gap here. So again, the 9 a.m. candle created a 5 minute fair value gap. That's what price just rated back into, that 5 minute fair value gap. So we can now go back on our one and again just continue to wait for this trade to play out. But we would expect now that that 5 has been distributed, we know price is not going to go any higher than this order block that has now been formed in the market. And if it does go higher than that order block, then we're going to get taken out. But realistically speaking, we would expect for shorts to now deliver us down to low of the day, because that's our objective for today. Okay, so that's going to conclude today. Ultimately, we got stopped out here. Again, this is just another one of those days where you can follow everything to a T. You can follow the trading plan to a T, and sometimes the market is just not aligned and not in your favor. Again, we would have expected this low of the day to be tagged today. Just walking through, once again, the trade and the session. We had a break of structure to start the session. We know that after a break of structure, we're either going to get a continuation with fair value gaps taking us bullish, or we're going to get some form of retracement trying to take us to the opposite side of liquidity, which today's case would have been low of the day. We then break out, and once we break out, we created a fair value gap at 825. This was our original point we were looking to take buys off of, but we knew that we were going to be cautious since this fair value gap was created before market open. We saw what happened once we got into that fair value gap. We instantly took that fair value gap out and started trading to the downside. We then created a fair value gap with the 840 candle, and that got retraced into. Once we retraced deep into that fair value gap, again, once the candle was almost out of it, is where I went to a lower time frame, and I tried to align with buys. I saw that, again, this 850 candle created momentum. I knew that this next candle at 851 on a 5-minute, we were looking to break out, and we had created this fair value gap. And so this was my buy here that I took a loss off of. And then again, we waited in the session. We knew that we're now in a bearish 5-minute fair value gap. And so ultimately we're going to be looking for bears and for bearish price action. And again, we have to have an objective in mind. And so our objective was current low of the day. And so then again, being on a lower time frame, we waited until we saw this significant down close momentum shift candle at 904. We then got a break of structure at 905 and a fair value gap that was created with that 904 candle. This is where we then took these shorts here. Again, I didn't take those on my personal account, but this is what we were going through and basically forward testing in price today. And again, pulls back into that, gives a nice delivery here at 909, but misses the low of the day. Again, just making a liquidity sweep and then taking out now buy side liquidity, which was our stop loss. So yeah, that is ultimately everything that we have for today. Like I was talking about in the previous voice notes, this is probably going to be the last video for this month, and my last trading day of this session, or my last trading day of the month. We currently have 3 more trading days, the 24th, the 26th, and the 27th, that we would be able to trade. But looking back on the log for the month, we are already up for the month, and there's just no reason to risk giving back any more significant profit for the month. And so kind of the breakthrough or the breakdown of where we are this month, we had on February 2nd, there was no trades taken. On the 3rd, actually, let me switch to this other screen. This is going to conclude everything on the charts, and then I'll switch to the Discord screen just to show where we are. Okay, so this is the overview of where we're at for the month. So on the 5th, we had a win on US 30 plus 1.6%. On the 9th, we had a break even on gold and then plus 1% on U30. On the 10th, we had plus 4% on gold, which was actually our best day of the month. And then on the 12th, we had plus 1% on NAS. On the 19th, we took a total loss of minus 2% between US 30 and NASDAQ. On the 20th, we had no trades taken. And then today, we had minus 1%. And so as a net hold, that leaves us at plus 3.3% total for the month. And so, again, that'll conclude this month's trading as a whole. And hopefully next month, again, we have another profitable month. We have some better price action than what the end of this month brung, because we did take a couple of losses to end the month. But again, overall, we're net positive, and that's all that ultimately matters. And that's what the end goal is again, to end every month as profitable as possible. And so, yeah, again, same premise applies to everything. If you guys have any questions, concerns, anything, let me know. But yeah, that concludes this month's trading sessions.